Now, I know that this is kind of some old news here, but it's kind of been on my head a little bit, and I really want us to think about this because whenever I hear that hackers actually received $90 million in Bitcoin ransom, that means we couldn't fix it. Now, I think that they tried to use the excuse of, oh, we just needed to get it back on, right? We just needed to be up and running again. No, but the Colonial Pipeline is talk about hitting you straight in the heart when we're talking about transportation and what could happen here. I mean, you saw how crazy things got just in a matter of days. And they didn't want to be down any longer. I understand that, but could we really fix the problem? Did we just give them a win? This terrifies me. Because if you were able to get into the Colonial Pipeline, how many other pipelines could you have gotten into? What other sort of infrastructure could you get into? We have really got to focus on hardening the grid, but more importantly than that, you can harden your grid all day long, but somebody's going to be able to figure out how to get in, right? Eventually that's going to happen. So what's plan B? Why do we not have plan B set aside for when all goes wrong? We still have a backup that's not on the cyber end. All right, cybersecurity is great. I'm glad it's improving. But so are the hackers out there. As you get smarter, they do too. What's plan B? This is why, more importantly than just what you're investing in, as far as stocks or precious metals or cryptocurrency, invest in yourself. All right? I don't think that we talk about that enough on this channel. Every now and again, it is going to come up. Have extra gasoline set, and I'm talking about a good bit. What do you use in a month? Have that set aside and rotate it. Don't let it sit forever. Gas will not sit forever. It's not like the old days. It's a lot harder to store gas nowadays than it used to be. But rotate through that. What do you use in a month? Think about like if all went wrong, because this is one of those moments where everything could have gone wrong. They didn't have to turn this pipeline back on. And it's also taking a shot at Bitcoin. So let's hear about this a little bit. So DarkSide Ransomware, the group that mounted a cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline earlier this month, has brought in over $90 million in Bitcoin ransom payments over the course of its operation, according to new research from blockchain analytics firm Elliptic. Never heard of this. Elliptic found that there were 47 Bitcoin wallets, that is, digital cryptocurrency accounts belonging to distant entities that paid Bitcoin ransoms to the group of hackers. The total amount of the ransom paid in untraceable cryptocurrencies was more than $90 million. This was actually not paid in untraceable cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is very traceable. It's not that hard to find it. So, I mean, maybe, right? Maybe. But I think that this is more taking a shot at crypto. It's going to open up the doors for more regulation. Was this terrible? Yeah, it's terrible. And some could say that it was done purposefully by other entities, maybe someone else other than this group, right? Maybe there's some alphabet agencies there that played a role in this. I can't be positive. All I know is it affected people. It hurt. So the group became active in October of 2020 and scaled up its operations in 2021. DarkSide said it planned to disband following pressures from the U.S. government and law enforcement officials, according to the Wall Street Journal. DarkSide released a statement on Twitter shortly after the cyber attack saying that it is an apolitical group and our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. They created a big problem for society. This isn't a white hat group. Again, this is another shot that they're taking here is at apolitical people, not standing with either side. I don't stand with any side of politics. I'm not left, I'm not right. I'm not necessarily in the middle. But I don't agree with this because you did create problems for society. It goes on to say the group's Bitcoin wallet was emptied on May 13th, according to Elliptic, but not before the Colonial Pipeline transferred hackers nearly $5 million in cryptocurrency. Good Lord. I don't know what else I can actually say about this other than they won. And hopefully the infrastructure was fixed enough, just enough to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But have it in your head today. I mean, I'm not talking about the apocalypse here. I'm not telling you to prepare for some, giant event that destroys America as we know. I guess that could happen. I mean, with the way things that are going now. But no, be prepared for situations like this. Because let me tell you something. Gas, put everything together, okay? We're on a 3-day system. 3 days. And you notice this actually with this Colonial Pipeline hack that happened. You're on a 3-day system, right? Shut off the gas and you're basically on no system. But that 3-day system means that your store, your local grocery store, your hardware store, whatever it might be, 3-day system. It takes 3 days for that grocery store to be empty. What happens when trucks can't get there? What happens when you can't go to work? You know, what happens when these bumps in the road kind of take place? Are you ready for something like that? This is a huge reason that I do stack precious metals. But again, whenever I said, you know, I've got extra gas on hand and I rotate through that, this is one of those whys. You know, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I don't need it. It's there, it's being rotated. I don't need it at all. But in the case of an event like this, I'm glad that I had it. I didn't have to use it. My area wasn't, you know, running out of gas. We were fine, but I'm glad that I had it. Also, back to that 3-day system, grocery store running out of food, you should at bare minimum, have 1 to 3 months supply of storable foods. Now, this can be done super easy and cheap. You could just go buy, you know, some beans and rice from your local store, stock up on that a little bit, have something set aside, you know, fill your freezer up a little bit more than it needs to be, and just rotate through that sort of stuff. Or you could actually go and buy storable foods from somewhere else. These are kind of some things to think about. Maybe have some extra tools and whatnot on hand too, just in case. But this is kind of one of those, I wanted to make this video because it's kind of like a, here's reality. It can happen. And if something big enough were to happen, that is kind of a collapse scenario. Economically, the way that you live your life daily, I mean, things like that come to a halt. If this wasn't fixed in a timely amount, which I don't know if it was actually fixed, they just paid the ransom. But if it wasn't fixed, you would have seen much larger problems. And not just for this area, but for the entire US. I mean, you need to think about how shipping works, where things come into, what ports do they come into, right? Where do they go after they leave those ports? This is all something to think about and how you get your supplies. Again, thanks for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. The more we share this out, the more people kind of get to pay attention to these sorts of things. Most of us don't have time in our day to be able to read through these sorts of things. So I know it's old news, but it is a little bit of news. And again, share. We're trying to grow this channel to the point of being able to make community posts. So in the future, when we're going live, or if I have any kind of disruption and I can't make videos for a while, I can let you guys know kind of what's happening. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.